Hi, soul friends. So every day in my practice and in my personal life, I hear the same stories over and over again, which I'm sure you do too. Horrible dates, strained relationships, confusing mixed signals, and massive disappointment in relationships. Women who are exhausted from trying so hard, hoping so hard, and giving so much, only to feel empty, unseen, or stuck in situations that really never should have lasted more than a week. So today I want to give you something different, something simple, and something that actually works for women seeking men. Because the truth is this: success in dating and relationships comes down to one fundamental key point. Men's deepest needs in a relationship are actually the exact same thing women need for fulfilling partnership, despite what you may have been told. And yes, there are many differences, but it comes down to this key point. And by the end of this video, you will know within the first few dates whether a man is worth your precious time or whether it's now time to exit stage left. That's this way, without any explanation. I don't mean ghosting, but you don't need give excuses or apologize, and without that emotional confusion. Hi, I'm Amy Rose White. I'm an integrative psychotherapist, and I've been that for nearly 2 decades, making videos on self-healing. If this topic interests you, please gently tap that like and subscribe button right now so you don't miss out on my new videos. Okay, let's get into it. So here's your real checklist, not the superficial one. Not height or career or even hobbies or things you have in common, or the kind of car they drive, or even that spark. Your deal breakers are simply this: does he, from the get-go, inspire trust, admiration, and respect from you? That's it. Those 3 qualities predict the long-term health of a relationship more than anything else. So let's break them down. Number 1 is trust, meaning does immediately, early on, does his behavior match his words? Trust is not about perfection, but it is about consistency. Does he follow through? Does he communicate clearly what he wants and then acts like he wants what he says he wants? Does he show up when he says he will? Does he speak honestly, even when it's inconvenient? If you're already explaining away little red flags like, oh, he's just busy, that's why I haven't heard from him in a couple of days, or he's got a lot going on at work, he's still healing, he's shy, he's overwhelmed, maybe he doesn't like texting, maybe he just forgot, or he's working on himself. That's a real seductive one for most women. Those are not explanations, they are warnings. If he does not inspire trust, meaning can you count on him early on, it will not get better, it will get worse. And yes, there can be a fine line between letting someone be human. People do forget, people do get busy, sometimes a person's going through something. But when a man is really, truly ready, willing, and able, has the capacity for committed partnership, if that's what you're looking for, not just fun, not just sex, not just play, casual, let it be loose or breezy. I once had a client tell me that their partner said that they wanted it to be breezy. No, we don't do breezy unless that's what you're actually looking for. But if what you want is committed partnership, someone that's actually in it for the long haul, then you want someone who shows up very consistently from the get-go. Like this is maybe someone that you could become a parent with or get married or something along those lines. A long-term commitment, if that's what you want someone to be very clear about what they want in the beginning. That inspires trust. You want to feel like you're not confused from the beginning. You've heard this now enough times, and I love that more people are talking about that, but you want that clarity. So clarity is the kind of thing that inspires trust. If you're confused, you don't trust. If you get mixed signals, if you feel like that's coming your way, you're not going to trust. If someone says they're going to reach out that night and they don't, you lose trust. So all those little things that someone does where their words and their actions match or they don't is what I want you to really focus on and think about. I want you to think, am I building trust in this person as time is going on or not? Am I not so sure? Am I already making excuses for flaky or inconsistent behavior? Or is this person genuinely inspiring my trust that what they say and what they do are going to be the same thing? Number 2 is admiration. Do you genuinely like who this person is? because admiration is not about pedestalizing him. It's not thinking he has to be extraordinary. It's simply, do you find his character appealing? Like, you respect the way he handles his life. You feel proud or maybe even inspired by who he is. You appreciate how he treats people. If you don't admire him, you will eventually resent him. And the energy of resentment is very aligned with the energy of contempt, which is basically a form of hatred, where we feel like we're the grown up in the relationship. We're the mature one. We're the one doing all the emotional labor in the partnership. We're kind of looking at him like a little kid. That is not good. If, if he's like someone who wants to play video games and smoke pot all day, the more he shows up as an under functioning adult or a teenager or a child or someone that you just cannot rely on, or someone who just does and says things outside your value system, early on, those are not behaviors that are going to earn your respect. So, again, all of those qualities are things that are earned. They're not something that you're going to automatically give people anymore. That's the promise I'd like you to make to yourself. We do not treat people as though we trust, respect, and admire them until they have earned that. And I'm using they because that really applies to everyone in your life. But it is particularly crucial when it comes to dating, because if we step over this, we can end up marrying someone, having kids with someone where we never really trusted, admired, or respected them from the very beginning. So, other examples that create admiration in someone are his goals, his vision, his ideals for his life, the way he shows up that would be someone you'd actually admire or would aspire to be or would really appreciate in anyone who's important to you. Admiration comes from seeing that someone's value system is a lived experience in their life, not just fluff or talk or words. So if you are watching a man spend his days doing things that are self destructive, hurt other people, kind of turn him into a victim or come from a victim position, involve any lack of integrity like lying, cheating, being deceitful, getting away with whatever he can, even if it's small things like you go to the grocery store together and he accidentally, has something the card he didn't pay for. Like, pay attention to as you go back in and pay it. Because even these really small things that we can see early on in a relationship are not going to engender admiration, and admiration should be earned. So again, you want to see, does this person really inspire me to think, wow, I would like to actually be more like this person. I want to be in the future that this person is creating. And I see that they're intentionally doing things with their life on purpose. If you're not observing some things like that in the first 3 to 6 dates, admiration is not coming on and it's not going to arrive later. Number 3 is respect. Does he show respect and earn yours? Emphasis is on the earning because respect is mutual. Does he respect your time, your boundaries, your values, your body, anything you need that has limits? And here's the big one. Do you actually respect him? Not tolerate, not fix, not manage, not mother, not compensate for, but respect. If he doesn't naturally inspire this trust, admiration, and respect, the gift is not trying harder to make that happen. The gift is clarity and removing yourself. You learn more about what you're looking for, what you value, and what you're no longer willing to settle for. And you save yourself years of emotional labor. These all go together, trust, admiration, and respect. They're so related and actually similar because what they do together is they engender a sense of pride in the person that you're with. And I'm not talking about the showing off, look how hot this guy is that I'm dating, or how much money he makes, or, oh, lucky me, he picked me because everyone else wanted him and so I should. No, we are talking about feeling in the presence of someone that allows your nervous system to relax. Because that's the real big thing that I want women to focus on, is how their body feels around their partner or their prospective partner. But what is required for that safety, security, and that nervous system relaxation around a man is to be with someone that you trust, admire, and respect. And here's the thing that I promised you in the beginning that is so similar about us. A man has to have that from us to not become an under-functioning, unhappy, miserable person. Men need to feel that we trust, admire, and respect them. And when we offer that genuinely, they become the highest version of themselves. Okay, now we're going to talk about the biggest dating trap that women fall into. Here is where most of us get stuck. We fill in the gaps and we imagine that potential and we make excuses or we deny things that are visible very early on, and we compensate with effort. We ask all the questions, we keep the conversation alive, we try to make sure it works, But this is how we lose the ability to actually see who a man truly is and is demonstrating to us. When we fill in those gaps, when we become the engine of the relationship and he becomes the passenger, you don't want that. And then you wonder why he puts in so little effort. But here's the truth. If he doesn't show up with effort naturally and consistently over time, meaning he doesn't love bomb you for the first 3 or 6 months and then suddenly he's different, not because he's bad and not because he's bad, but because he's not aligned with you and where you're going and what you want. So in the beginning, stay in observation mode. Receive, pause, allow silence. Do not do all the work. Allow him to reveal himself, because men reveal who they are very quickly, but only if you're not rushing into doing all that relational labor for them. Men who will lie, cheat, steal, and deceive will actually give themselves away. That is the big secret that I've been hiding in this video. Probably should have mentioned it earlier in the introduction. But truly, the biggest secret that most people don't realize, men will absolutely reveal themselves in the first 3 dates. They will talk about a nickname that they're called. They'll talk about a rumor that's going on around them. They'll make a joke about how lazy they are, or, how their ex-girlfriend was crazy or couldn't trust them. They will say or do something that indicates who they are right away. And our job is to believe them and to pay attention and accept that that is who they are telling you they are, and then be willing to remove ourselves and walk away and say, thanks, nice meeting you, see you later, next. Without trying to do any of that filling in that I just spoke of, because we're just so hopeful, or we're feeling desperate, or because we're just so hopeful, or maybe even desperate, or just lonely, or perhaps we just really, really, really want to be in a committed partnership. We have to love ourselves and the values of trust, admiration, and respect more than the desire to be in relationship. That really is the secret, my friends. Believe people when they reveal themselves. Trust that they will very early on, and be willing to tolerate the grief of moving on to the next thing in your life. Okay, I know what you may be thinking, but if I do this, Amy Rose, I will be single forever. And I hear this, I hear it all the time. Amy Rose, if I take that advice, I will never find anyone. No man I date inspires trust, admiration, or respect. That doesn't mean they aren't out there, but I hear that complaint very often. So to that I say, you will never be able to receive a man who does inspire those things if you're not practicing them with yourself. So let me explain that. If you want to receive respect, you need to practice acting as though you respect yourself. That means walking away from someone who isn't meeting those criteria. That's part of walking away from the ones that aren't for you. If you want to receive consistency in a man, you need to be consistent with yourself. You need to stick to the things that you've committed to that you want and need and deserve in partnership. If you want to receive and give admiration, you need to be someone that you admire and treat yourself like someone you admire. As we practice this, not just in dating, but everywhere in our lives, the person that we're attracted to actually changes. So we can do this by practicing receiving support from our friends, our family, if we're fortunate, a therapist, a massage therapist, an acupuncturist, a healer, the barista who remembers your name, at the coffee shop, or the coworker who asks how your day is. Being receptive to this kind of person is actually a skill. And it's this muscle we build through repetition. So by cultivating it, by taking a deep breath, by allowing yourself to receive help, care, nurturance, connection, and empathy from other people, whether you're in a relationship or not, then you're ready, willing, and able to actually receive the man you might believe doesn't exist when they walk through the door. Because a lot of us believe that because we simply have not trained our body to be in the receptive mode and actually take in and allow being cared for, being seen, being known, being loved, and being adored and cherished, which really every woman wants. So we get our body ready for that experience by practicing so that our radar senses that person in the room and actually softens and takes in his gaze and makes the connection and drops the handkerchief, so to speak, to let them know that we're interested because you've practiced being that for yourself so many times that your body, your nervous system has actually rewired itself to receive the man that you might believe doesn't exist. And it only takes one. Equally important, stop filling in the gaps. So to know if the guy who got your number at the grocery store might be something real for you, you have to stop doing these three things. Don't overfunction, don't fix, don't manage. Don't organize his life for him. Do not make things easier for him in hopes he'll choose you. If you are doing everything, he's doing nothing. So do not fill in silence with endless questions. Silence is where a man reveals himself. Let him wonder. Let him think. Let him lead the moment. Not all moments, but many of them. Some of them. Let him show interest and respond to that. Let him ask. You learn more from giving space to see if he is curious about you than from your caretaking of him. We don't learn anything about a man other than it's nice for him by doing a bunch of stuff for him. And then again, don't mentally rewrite his deficits. If he doesn't follow through, it matters. If he's inconsistent, that matters. If he's self-focused, that matters. If he talks endlessly about himself and never asks about you, no trust, no admiration, no respect. So do not imagine the man he could be. Look at the man he is today. Next on the list is to honor his differences as a man. Here's the final piece women often forget. Men truly are different. They are not you. They operate differently, communicate differently, think differently, receive data in the environment differently, and reveal themselves differently. Once a man has shown consistent behavior that builds that trust, admiration, and respect, it is essential to shift our focus because if you don't, any man will appear to be the problem. So here is the reframe. If a man has demonstrated that he's those things generally over time, then be really careful not to overfixate on what he doesn't do, because there will be those things, and start appreciating and focusing on what he does do, because no partner will notice everything. No one will be conscious all the time. No man or no woman is flawless. So the question is, can you accept his limitations in exchange for his strengths? Because he'll have them. He'll have those limitations. Can you appreciate the good more than you fixate on what's missing? And, hopefully that person gives that grace to you too. Because if the answer is yes, then you really have the foundation for a deeply healthy relationship and a long-lasting one. And if the answer is no, it's just not a match and it's not personal. So trust, admiration, and respect are your compass. Stop filling in the gaps. Observe instead. Practice receiving from yourself, for yourself, from others in your world. How you treat yourself, how you talk to yourself, what you do with your own body in the world and with others so you can learn to receive from a good partner. Honor those differences between men and women and focus on the good, not the deficits. If you apply these principles, really dating becomes peaceful, clear, and genuinely enjoyable, and we stop feeling like we're wasting our time, chasing our potential, and overgiving. And we start being attracted to the men whose actions actually match those intentions. If you like this video, check out my playlist here on love and relationships, as well as my top 10 book list links all about healing and relationships below in the description. Until next time, bye for now.